Street Sense IQ, powering up your product knowledge on tech, specs, and gear to help you determine if that gadget is worth your cash or simply fit for the trash. Let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so I've been testing the Theragun G3 Pro for about 6 months now, and I have to say it is absolutely worth every penny that I paid for it. Now I'm saying that from the point of view of someone who was severely injured. I had a pretty bad lower back hip injury, and I needed a little extra to aid in my recovery. So we're just going to go over some of the things that I've found with the Theragun, weaknesses, strengths, things I liked about it, and we'll start off with the carry case. So it comes in this wonderful box, and I'm not going to go over that because that's not what this is about, but when you open the box up, you get this beautiful hard case. It's not your typical hard case. It's got some pliability to it, so if you want to pack it in a suitcase, you can do that if you want to travel with it. But it's hard enough to protect it from bumps and bruises, scrapes, and dust. It's got a dual zip. It zips all the way around, as you can see here. It looks like it's got, the zip is sealed, so I would say that it's not waterproof, but it'll definitely, if it gets rained on, you can keep the rain out. It's got kind of a sealed zipper. So anyways, you zip it all the way around, and it breaks open into two halves kind of thing. So you can see there to two halves. One side you would have your gun. It's got a molded spot for the gun to go in, and then it's got some foam to protect the gun inside, as well as on the other half. It's got some pockets here that you can fit some of the tips and other devices maybe that you carry as a professional. So it's quite a well-made case. I like it. It looks really nice, very professional, almost like a briefcase. It's got a nice sturdy nylon handle with reinforced stitching. So definitely a very nice case. I will say as a caveat, I'm an average user. Basically, I play a few sports, soccer, hockey, the usual stuff. So I don't actually use the carry case. I've actually put it back in the box and shoved it under my bed. It's one of those things that companies like to add on to make the item seem more luxurious. That obviously increases the price because you've now got a fancy new box. But for those of you who are professionals, massage therapists, chiropractors, it could come in very handy for you. You want to take it to your customers home to home. It's great for that, even if you're keeping it in the office, again, to stop it from getting those bumps and bruises from daily use. It's nice to have to keep it tidy. You know where everything is. So yeah, that's pretty much it about the case. It's a nice little add-on, but for the average user myself, I don't think I'm going to use it. I guess one day if I ever decide to pass it on, sell it to someone else, it'd be nice to have that case to sell it in. Let's move on to what else you find in the box. You get a nice little bag here, a little sort of pencil case type looking bag, one zip, and it carries all the tips that come with the Theragun. And this is one of the things I really like about Theragun. They've added multiple tips for you to use, stuff for deep tissue, soft tissue, getting into those little areas that are hard to reach. You've got the big boy here for bigger muscles like your quads, your glutes, and then you've got smaller tips here that like a cone. Hope you can see that, and that really gets in really deep into those sort of smaller muscles, or into the sort of the crevices of some of your bigger muscles. It is nice to have the choice. You've even got one here, a wedge style tip, which I think is used more for along the spine, the muscles that go down the spine, to be able to get at those without actually hitting the spine. You want to avoid hitting bone, obviously. These percussive devices don't do well on bone. It can be a little painful if you hit a bone with one of these, so you want to keep it to the muscle. So they've added all these tips so that you can do that, which is nice. And you've got about 6 different tips, so a lot of variety there. I do like that. Now, what I will say is the tips are kind of made out of a, I don't want to say plastic, like this one here is a little bit of foam to it. But there is a plasticky feeling to some of them. Like the wedge one feels a bit hard and plasticky, whereas this one has got a foam sort of softer feel to it. The plastic ones, I feel like the wedge and the cone are both plastic. I really feel like, over time with the longevity of the device, you might damage these. But you can replace them at Theragun.com, which is nice. But that, I would say, you know, I haven't had any issues with it. But down the road, I think, you know, if you're a professional using it every day, I think, you know, you'll get wear and tear definitely on the tips. One thing I do like about the tips is how they connect to the device itself. So here we are here, that's a good segue. This is the device itself. Essentially the tips just pop on and off. And basically, if you've ever used a ratchet with a socket, it's got a little ball device at the end that allows you to slide it on and off very quickly, which is nice. So you can interchange very quickly in between your massages without any, you know, basically having a smooth transition. So that's nice. I know that with my tools, over time, these little balls that sort of compress and hold the tip in, they do wear and eventually they become loose. I haven't had any issues with it. Again, like I said, in the last 6 months, it's very robust, very well built, but that is probably an area too where you'll see some wear and tear over time, maybe a year or 2, 3 down the road. Getting into the actual gun itself, you can see the gun here. It's got a triangular configuration. This is the handle here. It is coated, the whole machine seems to be coated in some kind of like a slip resistant coating, which is good because when you're trying to get into those hard to reach spots and you're on your own, you don't want this thing slipping out of your hand. It's quite sturdy, it's quite hefty, it's got a little bit of weight to it. Obviously I like that. Some people might complain about the weight, but I like the weight aspect to it because it makes me feel like I can really abuse it and really get into my muscles nice and deep without having this thing break on me. Yeah, so the triangular configuration is designed so you can hold it in multiple ways, right? You can hold it at the bottom. Sometimes I grab it like that to get in my upper back, or if you want to get into, you know, under the shoulder blades kind of thing, you can really get in and you can hold this sort of device in any position, right, to get into those muscles. Another feature of this device basically is the neck here. It actually moves as well. You press this button here and the neck itself can actually move, which is nice too, to help you get in again to those little areas that are difficult to get into. You know, I prefer, sorry, you gotta lock it in. The button will pop out once it locks in, but I prefer to keep it at sort of what I call a 90-degree angle, so that's the angle there. Especially when you're doing your upper back and your shoulders. If you have it tilted like so, if you have it tilted at an angle, I find like this, if you have it tilted like that, I find if you're doing the upper back, the machine tends to jump because the tip is not directly hitting the muscle. So that was one thing that I found. It started to bounce off the muscle kind of thing rather than being able really to get deep. So I always kind of keep it when I'm doing my back at that 90-degree and just utilize the triangular configuration to get into those muscles. And you can really push down and deep. The other good thing about this that I didn't see on other guns was the fact that you can't make this thing stall out. I can press as hard as I want. As you can see, it's quite loud as well. But I can press as hard as I want and it doesn't stall out. There are some cheaper versions on the market and they tend to stall out if you push too hard, but if you really want a deep massage, like some of my glutes and my quads really need a pounding, and I can do that with this gun. So very enjoyable to use, very sturdy gun. Next, let's talk about the charger and the battery. So one fantastic thing is it comes with 2 rechargeable batteries. And a number of times I've been doing a massage and all of a sudden the battery dies, but luckily I've had the second one here just sitting on the charger, so you can easily quick release it out, just like a sort of almost like a gun. You pop it out, right? Boom, that comes out. Next one comes in, and you got no time wasted. That's upside down, but you're in and away you go, right? So for you professionals, definitely a nice feature. You've got a customer on the bed and you're going away and the battery dies. Bam, you can just pop in the second battery and away you go within seconds. So that's a nice feature. Obviously that's another reason why you've got the added cost. You've got 2 large lithium batteries. The batteries can go into the charger, as you see here. So it's got sort of like a computer charger and cord, and it comes apart. That's the charger itself, so it just drops in. to the charger, so you can have that sitting somewhere in a spare bedroom, or if you're in your office, somewhere in the office, and then it plugs into a regular outlet. So very handy to have the 2 batteries. I've had it dial me a couple times and quickly run over and continued my massage. So moving forward here now, we've talked about the gun, we've talked about the charging unit, we've talked about the tips. One thing that I really did like was Theragun has an app that you can get on the Google Play, or if you're an iPhone user, you can get it on their app store. They have an app, and essentially for beginners, the app is perfect. It kind of has a listing of all the muscle groups, quads, glutes, delts, these types of muscles, and you can click on the muscle and it shows you, has a little video, it shows you exactly how to hold the gun, how to maneuver the gun up and down that particular muscle correctly so that you're not hurting yourself, how long to do this for. So again, people think you need to be doing this for hours. It's literally 30 seconds on each muscle. You start to get that little tingling, the blood's coming to the surface, and that is recovery in itself. So the app actually walks you through all that with videos and pictures. It's actually pretty neat. It's free, so go and try that out as a beginner. Once I kind of got into it, I figured it out and I didn't have to go back to the app. But for the beginner, just kind of go on, have a look at all the muscle groups that you're interested in using the device on, the massager on, and it'll definitely help. It's a nice little addition. It doesn't come in the box, you just got to go to the Google Play Store and download it. So in closing, folks, great product, well built, hefty price tag for what it is. But if you're an avid athlete like me, where you're playing multiple sports a week, you're going to the gym, you've got aches and pains, definitely worth the money to be able to recover quicker, to get back to those workouts. I found it immensely helpful when I had my injury. I've used a number of different fitness pieces of equipment to help me get better in terms of my pulled muscles and stuff like that. The rollers, the balls, the stress balls, these types of things. This is an all-in-one. I can do my whole body in about 5 minutes, 30 seconds per muscle group type of thing. So one leg, one glute, other glute type of thing. And it's very quick. You do that once or twice a day, 3-4 times, or if you're really adventurous, you go every day. It really helps. It really helps to loosen you up. You can get deep tissue, you can get soft tissue, you can just do a kind of over the top of the muscles just to get the blood moving just before you're going to go out and play. The other day I noticed that Ronaldo, the famous soccer player, football player, for those of you in Europe, he uses this. I saw his girlfriend, I don't know what her name is, but she was using this on him, working on his calves, it looked like. So, popular gun, I love it. It's definitely worth your cash and not fit for the trash. Please like and subscribe. If you have any comments, maybe you found some things about the Theragun that you enjoyed or you didn't like, write them down below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Take care.